Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here with the Miserable Liberal and Ron Placone.
Hello.
Yes.
Howdy.
Get a mug, get a
Great
T-shirt,
mug.
get it right underneath. We're talking about Jamil. We were just talking about Jamil Hells. I know I'm not pronouncing her name correctly.
Hill.
And but now we're going to talk about Colin Kaepernick. I don't know how you feel about Colin Kaepernick, but he's 29 years old, led his team to the Super Bowl. And of the 90-some quarterbacks in the league, he's not good enough. He's number 95. That's not true. So he's probably good enough to be a starter. He's definitely good enough to be a backup on someone's team. And the fact that he's not third string on some, I mean, it just goes to show you. So I don't want to give you too much my opinion because I feel uncomfortable talking about or preaching about it or whatever about this, right? People say, oh, white guys preaching about race. So, but I do have an opinion, and this is my opinion show, so you know what I feel. So it's hard not watching the NFL, but I'm not going to watch it. People already made fun of me saying that, oh, yeah, they can crack their heads open and make themselves brain injured. That didn't bother you? Yeah, I guess not enough. I guess not enough. So now, does that mean that I shouldn't be upset about this because I wasn't upset about the other thing enough? So have I forfeited my right to be upset about stuff because I wasn't upset about them cracking their heads open? I think that's not the greatest argument. Right?
You mean you're not convinced that they're a very wholesome organization with them teaming up with other wholesome organizations like Susan G. Komen?
So here's Max Kellerman, who's one of my favorite boxing announcers.
As we speak, let the white guy say something about this because I'm serious about that. Because in this country, these things are seen far too often along racial lines. And if you see African American people speaking about this, it feels as though that it's a racially segregated issue, which it is in many respects, unfortunately, because anyone who is socially conscious can see what's going on. Colin Kaepernick, and by the way, Colin Kaepernick showed leadership because a lot of others had followed his lead.
Yes.
But what happens when someone shows leadership, and this even you see it in labor relations? You know who never got paid? Kurt Flood. You know who got paid because of Kurt Flood? Everyone else.
So if you don't know who Kurt Flood was the first baseball player to sue to be a free agent, right? So he won that for everyone else. Now that's why baseball players are paid such exorbitant salaries because they have free agency. Now before that they didn't. Kurt Flood was the guy who made that happen, and he just referenced Kurt Flood didn't get paid. I guess they blackballed him. That's what it sounds like he's saying. I'm not an expert on the Kurt Flood story, but I do know what happened with him, so...
It is very possible what we're seeing now is a sacrifice of Colin Kaepernick's career on the altar of social and racial progress. And when he doesn't get a job, and I did not come out right away when they said blackballed, right? I did not come out right away.
Max, preach.
Yes, that's what's happening because I thought he's looking for a starting job. Maybe he's seen as a bubble starter. You got to change your offense. He'll get a backup job. But now the results are in. The evidence is in. He does not have a starting job. He does not have a backup job. 31 of the owners are old white men, right? And precisely the issue that Colin Kaepernick is protesting is systematic racial injustice, which starts with the international slave trade, the Middle Passage, the institution of slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, ongoing systematic oppression, which has created racial imbalance in terms of social justice. That's essentially what Colin Kaepernick is protesting. And the fact that then an almost exclusively white club of owners, because unless you believe that black people are intrinsically inferior at making money, I guess that's not true, right? Unless you believe that, then you also understand that the fact that the NFL is an all-white club at the ownership level, essentially, is a result of that injustice. Think of the irony that he doesn't have a job, partly because he's protesting the very reason that right now he doesn't have a job.
Wow.
So that's a white guy, Max Kellerman, weighing in. I'm also a white guy weighing in, and it's obvious, and it's you see what's happening in St. Louis. Those cops are out of control again. They're basically celebrating the murder of a black guy. if you don't think the cops are out of control in this country and that they're not held accountable to anybody, they're not. They just, again, you saw what happened in Ferguson. You shoot a guy, unarmed guy, 40 feet away from you, 6 times. They shot 11 rounds at, and he was feared for his life. This is what's happening in America. Black people are being gunned down, choked out, right on the city sidewalk in the middle of the day in broad daylight. Nothing happened to that cop who choked that Eric Arno. Nobody. Nothing. They shoot a 12-year-old boy within a second of showing up, a 12-year-old black kid with a toy gun in a park. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. So Colin Kaepernick is trying to say something about that. And the white owners of the football, they have to appeal to the racists. And I love that point. There's 31 owners of football teams in America. They're all white. I bet they got that there because they're just smarter than every Mexican or black guy, I bet that's how they got there, right? That Goodell, he's really smart, that guy. So this is, again, a white guys club, and he made so many great points. So this is obviously what this is. Do I think that the owners of the football teams are racist? I don't know whether they are or not, but I know that what they're doing is racist. So whether they're pandering to racists because they fear they're going to lose money from other people who are racist, or whether they're racist themselves, it doesn't matter to me because the effect is that they're instituting, again, more racist system. And they're screwing over a guy who's silently protesting. Silently making a statement. And by the way, Colin Kaepernick is as solid dude gets. Guy gives back to his community, gives back to charity, his personal time, not just cash. He's the real deal. And instead of the football teams holding this guy up as what a warrior really is, they're blackballing him. Isn't that something? So, that's what I think, and I think so that's two white guys. There's two white guys weighing in on this. What is now, Steph? You're a woman of color. What do you think about Colin Kaepernick and what he's doing and how he's being treated and the fallout?
Well, you see somebody, first an athlete who gets to that level of a professional life to be able to enjoy that. We know how much he's gone through to be able to get there, and that the owners that are traditionally white are just saying, no, you're a troublemaker. Right. We don't want this to influence the other players. Mm-hmm. We don't want this to take away from this great game. I think it's sad. And, like the former athlete you talked about earlier, who was able to become a free agent, what kind of, yes. And so, Colin Kaepernick is like, he's sacrificing his career. Yes. For the future of others, which is a pretty honorable thing to do in life. And not a lot of people will do it. And we saw so many people are not standing with him or sitting with him. Or, so I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen to the NFL. Are there going to be any changes? And I think it's sad. And I appreciate Max Kellerman saying something so strong and so forceful as far as in support of Colin Kaepernick. So that's...
So I don't know how you can watch I know it's tough to not watch. I love watching football. I love to see, I'm a Chicago Bears fan. I'm from Chicago. I want to see how their new quarterback's doing. They got rid of that guy. He's now in Miami. I wanted to see how he's playing this year, the guy they had last year. I don't know. It's just bred into me as a male in America, sports. But I don't know, sitting there watching the whole time, you're thinking this is, white supremacists, right? This is not that the whole NFL is what this is. Racism is happening, and it's happening publicly. It's happening in a really public way. And Max Kellerman will say something about it. Brian Williams won't say anything about it. You know what I'm talking about. There won't be there's not an outcry from the media right now. Not at all. Because this is about money. It's going to bottom line, baby. We can't have Colin Kaepernick. He might cost us some money.
Yeah. Well, and people try to throw like those straw men on, and I'm certainly no expert on football, but people are like, well, he's not that great. It's just because of his talent, and it's like, no, it's definitely more than that. Like I know Colin Kaepernick is not the greatest quarterback in the NFL, or even anywhere close to it. Maybe not even starter caliber at this point. I don't know. I mean,
he's 29 years old.
He's 29
it's not like
years
he's over
old.
the hill, Ron. He did lead his team to a Super Bowl.
He did.
So I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm no expert on football. I mean, I'm just, but to say that, I mean, they're bringing up like Arena League people and stuff, and really, you're saying Colin Kaepernick's not qualified for any
Of course
gig
he is.
over any of those? Yeah, absolutely he is.
And that's what Max Kellerman, who knows a lot more about sports than you and I do, he said the same thing. He's like, okay, maybe he was holding out for a starting job, but now it's clear. They're not giving him a backup job. They're not giving him. Of course, he's one of the top 90-some guys in the country.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. We'll see. We'll see. Are you going to watch it? You going to watch football this year? That's the real decision. I know, again, I have people already made fun of me. You don't mind Pollard, they're going to get themselves brain damage. I guess we're mixing issues, I would say. So that's where I stand as a white guy. Hey, everybody, we have 2 live Jimmy Dore shows in September. September 25th, we're in San Diego, and September 18th in Burbank, California. Get your tickets right there. There's a link right there.